Yeah, I mean, it's no point in putting it off now, is it?
So, Roth, do you want to do an intro?
Yes, I'll do the intro, guys. Am I good to go?
Yes, you are.
Hello, and welcome to the No.1 Crude Mistakes podcast, episode 99, which is the one before the big one. This is a podcast hosted by three legends of the maker community. From behind the mistakes, we've got the B.A. Baracus of the maker world, Haavard, a guy that can take any material, add a two-stroke engine, and come out with a fully working thing that nobody needs, but everybody wishes we had in our workshops. We've got K.J. from Crude but Efficient, the Albert Nobel of the Swedish making world. You don't always know quite what you're looking at, but you can guarantee it's going to go with a bang and completely shock you. And finally, there is usually Glenn from No.1 Holidays. No.1 Projects. The maker that you get if you combined wood turning with a teenage mind. When he's not making musical instruments, he's laughing uncontrollably at the size of K.J.'s nuts. Glenn is having a week off as he's away on his summer holidays, which unfortunately for you listeners leaves you with me for 1 week only. So those of you that don't know me, I'm Ross, a distinctly average woodworker, a budget DIYer, and a hopeful YouTuber.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful summary there.
Welcome, Ross.
Oh,
Good to
thank
have
you.
you.
Welcome.
Glad that you can step in now that Glenn is off in some la la land somewhere and just not caring about the rest of us.
Yeah, nice to get away sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, he claims that.
Well, he's been rubbing our noses in it. Of course, understandably so. I mean,
Since we've been doing the same to him for the past couple of weeks.
I
So,
was going to say,
yeah,
it's certainly the time of year where everyone wishes that they were Scandinavian. To have
yes.
these sort of 3 or 4 weeks off in the summer must be absolutely amazing, chaps.
Yeah, well, we have to take the chance when the weather is actually nice here. So
yeah, because it's over now. That's for sure.
I think
and
we
now it's
should,
just rain.
yeah, I think we should follow suit with our summers. To be fair, you can sneeze and miss it over here.
Yeah. But then again, I'm pretty sure if you asked Glenn, he would say that it was been going on for a couple of months now. So, I mean, our holidays, that is. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? When something's not yours and it's someone else's, it seems to go on forever as your envy grows. But as soon as it's your holiday, it's over in a flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think that's called a holiday paradox.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same for everyone, I feel. So what did you say?
Well,
Very average woodworker, was it?
Um, distinctly average.
Distinctly average, yeah. So, well, that's a way to describe you.
Well, the camera hides a lot, doesn't it?
Well, that we are in the fortunate position that we can choose what the camera sees and what we edit out. So,
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's only the very brave YouTubers that put the mistakes in as well.
yeah, it is. I've actually taken. I had to take myself up on that on several occasions because, well, I do have the handle that I have, and sometimes I'm just all right. I'm just gonna angle the camera a bit, and yep, you're doing the exactly opposite than you are portraying in your headlines. So yeah,
I think we've all
but
been there where take 2, take 3, and take 10. You slowly get better and get the final shot that you want.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, in one way, I like it when it's a one-shot opportunity, when you do something and this is the only time I'm going to do it. Let's hope the camera is roughly in the correct, pointing in the correct way, because I'm not going to get this one again. And then you just
Yeah.
have to go with what you have. But if I have a chance to do retakes, I mean, intros, I don't know what my worst is, but it's probably around 30 or something like that. And just incrementally getting closer and closer to what I want.
There's a secret in my videos. If you see me laughing at the beginning of a scene, it's usually because I've run out of patience and I'm just chuckling at whatever I said on the previous 8, 9, 10 attempts, and then I just get to the point where I've completely lost the will to do it anymore. And miraculously, whilst I'm laughing at myself, and I just managed to get the take out. So if you ever see me chuckling mid-video, you know I've had a real nightmare of a 10 minutes trying to get that take right.
Does that work to force it? When you start with laughing and see where it takes you?
Yeah, well, there's a few different things you can do. I watched a video on trying to be a little bit more natural in front of the camera, and it said about thinking about talking to your friends instead of talking to a camera. Talk to your friends. So just before you do the take, put the camera on, call out a friend's name, and it supposedly makes you talk like you're talking to your friend, not to the camera. So, but again, I've done that and still had 8, 9, 10 takes. So maybe I need better friends.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
blame your imaginary friends.
yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, damn, you need friends. It's hard enough as it is. Yeah. I like the hopeful YouTuber. I think you said, and yeah, joyful. I've been trying that as well, and in some of the takes, um, of course, it is it's a comedic contraption that I'm building, and I'm trying to like. Sometimes when I build something, I see myself how dumb it is, and I laugh of it, and that makes for good video. But of course, after the 15th take, it's hard to have a genuine laugh at your own creation, like spontaneously, and then you try to mimic it, and at some point, oh, this feels so fake. This laugh was gone 20 recordings ago. So yeah, but as I said before, it helps lowering your standards, and then that's
or,
got me through a lot of them.
or having none at all.
Yeah, even better.
That's really freeing. So what brought you to YouTube, Ross?
Um, my entry to YouTube was actually not woodworking. It was a pizza oven.
Okay.
So take yourselves back to lockdown. I was very fortunate enough that I had just ordered a load of building materials to redo a garden, and I wanted to make a pizza oven. So I started watching YouTube to know how to build a pizza oven. Built the pizza oven, and then moved on to I wanted something to put my pizzas on, and I made some wooden pizza boards, and that was it from there. Um, Started making videos. I've watched quite a few on sort of like chopping boards and pizza boards and stuff like that. I thought I can do that, um, and that was it. The birth of a small YouTube channel.
Nice. Yeah, you had a growth spurt just not that long ago, it feels like, on your channel.
A couple of weeks back, I think I've gone nearly 400 subscribers in a month, which is my best ever month by an absolute country mile, which is nice. Although I've done that typical YouTuber, I think the number's somewhere about 370 something, 380, maybe just touching 380. And a month ago, I'd have snapped your hand off for that. But I'm sitting here now thinking, well, could have just pushed to 400. So enough's never enough, is it?
No, it definitely isn't.
But like I say, a month ago, I'd have gladly taken that. It's a really big jump if you look at what my actual figures are. So I'm very grateful for all the people who joined along.
I think I saw is. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the. I think it's Jimmy DiResta and a few of his friends. They had a maker show over at Netflix, and one of the guys is called Pat Lap. Yeah, he's also on YouTube and Instagram and whatnot, and he's been having some legal issues with the company he collaborated with a few, well, months, years back, and then a fellow YouTuber that I know has made like a support page or something like that, and that of course has been his blowing up. So he just posted some numbers here the other day, and he had like, was it 20,000% increase in Instagram activity from last month, because he gets the statistics, and that's of course that one support post has been shared and shared and shared. So it said like, yeah, last month must have been a crap month if you look at these numbers. So, but I mean, I'm guessing that post is the odd one out.
How to trick the algorithm? Be a nice guy and help someone out.
Yeah,
Might work.
so
Could
maybe
be the next strategy.
Yeah,
Everyone's starting fundraisers for each other.
oh, yeah, maybe that we should brainstorm now. Like, what's the sad backstory for a GoFundMe for Glenn? Some sad piano music, and yeah, of course, this is Glenn. Or maybe not.
He doesn't get enough holiday.
No.
Only has one cup holder on his lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No chance of dual wielding. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, on the non-functioning lawnmower. So yeah, it's a sad story. Well, I think we have a pitch there.
Yeah.
I wonder if his lawnmower broke because he put a cup holder on it. Is it going to take it?
Most likely.
Yeah.
I guess he did something to it to get the perfect shot, and then he overdid it. I mean,
Either that
how many times do you think he ran it up and down that road until he got that perfect shot? I mean, it looked very well mowed, that piece of grass in the middle there.
And there's probably his problem. He's mowed it that much that the bracket's worn out on his cup holder, and he's spilt his drink all over his mower.
Ah, yeah. Probably that.
It's the sort of thing I'd end up doing.
So what have everyone been up to in the last week or so? What's the latest make?
For me, I've just had to postpone one for the first time in a long time. I've managed to break my thicknesser this week.
Oh no.
And when you're making stuff out of reclaimed pallets, it's, I wouldn't say essential, but it's a fairly important part. So there's not been a lot of making. I managed about 15 minutes this week and then broke that. And yeah, I'm a little bit stuck at the moment.
Did you push it too hard, or was it just, have you worked it too much, or?
No, to be fair, I don't know what happened. It felt like something slipped. The piece was halfway through. It wasn't a particularly aggressive cut. First one of the morning, and the feeding rollers just stopped. So stripped it back, and there's power. The drive belt's working. The other side of the cutters normally powers the rollers. I can see the part of it spinning, but it's like it's not gripping the cogs. So the cogs are sitting still. And as you can see, I'm a really mechanical person.
Yeah, I can hear from the technical lingo.
So we got spinny bits, but not grippy bits. So I don't know.
Maybe it's some kind of key thing for the cogs, something not gripping, or
I don't know.
Something broke off.
Like I say, I'm at the edge of my technical ability with this one, and the thing that's in the back of my mind is if I take any more of it to pieces, when I put it back together, my planer's mounted on a set of drawers on casters, and it is nuts high. So if I don't put something back together right and I press that on button, we're in danger country.
I'm gonna run the risk here of sounding like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm very much not. But what brand is it?
It's an old Clark something
Oh, yeah,
like
never.
PT 250 or something like that. It's obsolete. They don't make them anymore. They don't make the spares. If I'm honest, I think it's seen its days. It certainly doesn't owe me anything anyway. I bought it about 3 years ago, second hand, and I've more than had my money's worth out of it. It might be just one of those that I have to chalk down to time to upgrade.
Yeah.
But still, it's not fun when that time comes.
No, especially when you're halfway through making something and it might be a few weeks or months before I get a replacement. So, but that is what it is. I suppose if I
But-
really want to finish it, I can go down the hand tool route.
Yeah,
It's a
or
good twist for a video.
Yeah,
that's true. Or you could ask someone if they have one, but yeah, then you have to talk to people, which is
talking
well,
to people.
hand tools it is.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's that combination of talking to people and it's pallet wood. Do I really want to put pallet wood through someone else's machine? Because you go from having to make a friend to then saying sorry to a friend all in one afternoon.
Yeah,
And by tea
yeah,
time, we might not be friends again.
that's true. That's true.
That sounds like an old fairy tale. You go to a friend and break that plane, and the two of you go to a third friend and break that, and the three of you go to a fourth friend, and so on and so on, and someone learns something at the end, or
Yeah.
everyone dies, depending on what kind of fairy tale it is. But it could be a nice video.
It could.
So,
Certainly could. How about you
That
guys? What have you been making then this last week?
I mean, speaking of fairy tales, it's a very good segue to what I've been doing. Of course, I had plans and I deviated from them, so now I'm in the cartoon business. Um, some of our listeners might not know this, but before I started YouTube, I spent a couple of years making cartoons, posting one every week on Instagram. I'll see if I can find any few examples and post on our Instagram page. And amidst that, and I think it was right before the pandemic, I made a children's book, as one do, and was kind of pleased with it. And then at some point, I got the idea, and I think we've discussed it in a previous episode, that why don't I just take all the pictures and add the text in speech bubbles and do a voiceover and put it on YouTube Kids? Because as YouTubers, every time you post a video, you get that question: is this made for kids? Yes or no? And of course, making windshield flamethrowers, rocket fuel, gingerbread houses. I haven't pressed yes on one of them. But after I got kids, I've seen all the crap that's over at YouTube Kids. And I'm like, what if I, as an experiment, make a totally new channel, just post the video over there, and see how that goes and how it is to then press yes, it's made for kids, and of course then they restrict the commenting and whatnot. So it would be nice to see how that works. And from our last collaboration, I got an idea, because now you can get your videos on YouTube and you can get like automated languages, so you can swap languages. But it would be cool to ask fellow makers who speak different languages to do the voiceover, because the entire story is over in 10 minutes. So it's a 10-minute recording. So if I make the original video and I record the Norwegian voice, then of course KJ could do the Swedish voiceover. And then my wife has already said that Glenn has the voice for audiobooks. I mean, she's in publishing, so she might be onto something. And then, of course, I know some Polish guys and some Dutch friends and whatnot. So it would be fun to take that video and just share it with all the makers. And can you spend half an hour making an audio track to this? And I can, on that separate test channel, just make 10, 12 different variation in different languages and see if that's going to have an impact. So that's taken over. Of course, everything was done at some point last year, and then I got cold feet because I made the original story. The drawings were based on some teddy bears I got, and I drew them the exact same way. And of course, now I realize, well, someone owns the design of those teddy bears, so yeah, don't want to dump a lot of video and drawings that are too similar. So I've now gone through 37 drawings in 2 days. Um, of course, I started up work again, so I went to the office and I printed all the line drawings, and then I brought them home because I got this light box where I can put a drawing on and a paper over that to trace details. So I have changed the design a bit, enough that it's not the same, but I don't have to redraw all the drawings. So that's now complete. So I need to recolor some bit and do some Photoshop work. So it's going to take me a week and a half. Then I'm back to the point where I can add the voiceover. So that has become the first project I'm now working with. And maybe it's because I'm afraid to complete the leather working bit on the Hell quarter, because I'm at that point where if I screw it up, I have to go to the store and buy more leather, and it's like a one shot at making it right. So I'm defaulting back to playing in Photoshop, where you can control set at every mistake.
Undo is your friend, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's a really nice idea to use the maker community for different languages. And I mean, you could do a build video about that process just to
Oh yeah,
promote
that
the thing.
I have been filming myself doing some drawing and so on, so I can have a separate build video. Of course, that is free content basically.
And then the question is, how many British dialects do you want? Because you got friends in the UK and vastly different places.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, it's my native language, but I'm not the best at doing the Norwegian voiceovers. I might even find someone doing that. But I mean, at least one of the videos, I should have done everything. And then, of course, what's the incentive of doing the collaboration? Should we say like, okay, do the voiceover, and if there is ever any revenue from this, is like a 10% of that video you did the voiceover, is that a decent deal? I haven't thought that far, but
I think it
yeah,
just
you
sounds a
could.
good project, and it'd be interesting to see how it pans out with lots of different voices. I have seen different maker videos with sort of 10, 15 makers in, where they all take a line or two each talking about a particular problem, and they do come across quite well. So it'd be interesting to see how that will play out with all the different voices, different sort of accents and languages in there.
And I mean, it becomes kind of a competition as well, which is the best language. So then you people
Yeah,
get enticed to promote their own version because you want that to succeed.
but it would be fun though if you make a story and it turns out the Polish video like outperforms everyone else because that story resonated with kids in Poland, and yeah, of course that voiceover may be much better than the others, but um, I mean, it's this is just theoretical, of course, but how fun wouldn't it be if this as an experiment has turned out to get a lot more followers and be becoming the bigger channel than the one I'm doing now? That really, like, all right, I did one side project and goddamn, I'm into cartoons now.
Well, you've got to go where the views are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think you can churn out videos at the same pace with that kind of project, though.
No, for sure not. But it is. I haven't reflected much upon it, but I've been doing a lot of drawing the last couple of weeks. I'm also doing some sketches for my workshop that I'm gonna have an architect scrutinize. But my wife just commented here the other night when I was just getting my equipment ready, and and she just said, "Yeah, it's nice seeing you drawing again." And then I started thinking, yeah, when did I draw last? And I think there is a very steep cutoff there when I started YouTube videos, because I realized don't have the time, because I used maybe one evening after the kids gone to bed to set up like a 3-panel cartoon that was made for Instagram. So you spent one day on the idea, and then you were just sketching up, and then you have to make everything in vector graphic for Photoshop, and then you had to tweak it. And so that took basically one full week, not having to work the weekend, to have one cartoon out. And I see a lot of the people that I know that are living out of cartoons, they have the same structure during the week, many of them. And that's basically what they can do, but it takes your entire week. So it is not compatible with doing YouTube at the level I'm doing now at the same time, because there is not enough time.
Yeah.
Sounds like the time frames are fairly similar for making a woodworking video. You both sound like not the sort of thing you couldn't do cartoons on a Monday and woodworking on a Tuesday. From what you're saying, that it's an all-week project, and it's kind of like that making the woodworking videos or the maker videos, where sadly it's not a quick process, is it? And I don't think you realise until you get quite deep into it just how much YouTubing and video making takes over, and that's on top of the woodworking itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reflected upon that. I think it was last week, because we discussed, for a joke, I've been putting a podcast host and YouTuber up as professions on LinkedIn, because that's a rubbish social media. So I'm just having fun with it. But I realized the time I'm spending, maybe not as much in the podcast, since we are 3 people alternating doing the edit and so on. But I mean, if you were one person doing everything every week, and then with the YouTube, I am basically doing a second job. I'm putting in enough hours on YouTube. It is my hobby, but I do have a structure during the week that, yeah, I mean, we've just looked at the hours and the effort you put into it. It is a second job, basically. So
Yeah.
I am my own unpaid intern, I realized.
I was just about to say that it's a second job in everything other than income.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, before we jump to you, KJ, just double back to you then, Ross, because how often do you publish? What's your schedule? Because I see lately you have had like a semi-frequent posting schedule, since you also said you had to postpone one video. That means that you have a schedule to postpone from.
Yeah, I think since mid-December up until about a month ago, I think I'd missed one video going weekly, so one a week for about 6 months. Um,
That's impressive.
yeah,
And you're not going insane at the same
no,
time.
no. There's a little bit of cheating in there as well. Some of my lesser watched videos sometimes get recycled into other videos about other things. So I might have made a build on something that only got a couple of hundred views, and sort of like lately I've been looking at sort of beginner level projects. So I put a video together with 3 of my early builds for beginner level projects. So sometimes it's not always as time consuming as having to do the project as well, but for the vast majority of those 6 months, every week's been a new build.
Yeah, but I think you're really good at recycling material in that way, because I kind of recognize some of the projects in your video, but it doesn't bother me because you frame it differently, so to say.
Well, that's what I always try to do. I try to make the angle different, and it's always got a different narration. So the stock footage, if you like, say if it's building a chopping board or a box or whatever. I think one I used was actually a whiskey box that I'd built. I built that for someone's birthday, and the original video had one narration. And then when I did it as a beginner project, I used the footage, but completely new narration around it being a beginner project. So it is different enough that it doesn't look exactly the same, uh, but it is a little bit of a time saver as well.
Yeah. Going back to what you said, this is a hobby that doesn't pay. A lot of your videos seem to be around selling and making money. Is that something you actually do and you're passionate about, or is it just that you found an audience that liked it, kind of?
I
Or is
sell,
the combination?
yeah, I sell to make, not make to sell. I hate the selling of woodworking projects. It is not me at all. Standing on a stall and smiling for 5 hours is definitely not me. And talking to random people, not me. But it's a way of getting some more money into the workshop. Um, Obviously, like everyone, the budget's not infinite.
Yeah.
So to buy new tools, I sell things, combination stalls and custom builds. So I do make to sell, but I don't like it.
But you do sell, at least.
Yes, yes. So I think my last stall was about a month ago at a school fair just before the schools broke up here mid-July, and I think that was about the 10th or 11th, or the weekend around about the 10th or 11th. Um, and I stood at a local school for 4 hours and sold just shy of £100 worth of boards and signs and what have you, um, just to put a little bit more money back in the workshop.
Nice, nice.
And if you're really lucky, the one I did before that, I got 2 commission builds out of that brought in nearly £250.
Nice.
But that's
Because I
even
mean,
worse.
you hear the horror stories of people just being there and not selling anything, and I mean,
I've done that too.
as long as you're selling, then I think it's fine to have a stand. But just sitting there being miserable, that seems like torture for real.
Doing the
That
stands is a little bit like YouTube. You put your first video out there and it gets 3 views, and you do your first stall and you sell 2 coasters and you don't even make your entrance fee back. So, so yeah,
that's
I've been there.
that's the that's the good thing though. I think that one of the biggest Christmas fairs outside of Oslo, they have a reduced fee for first time offenders. And a friend of mine a couple of years ago, she's starting up a traditional Norwegian pastry bakery. And she's looking into fitting out like this a food truck. And she is now at the level where she have all the traditional recipes. It's like some of them are her own, and some of them are family recipes, and some just traditional from the area that she's from. And a few years ago, she wanted to go to that fair, and she asked if I wanted to join in just to sit there and have a laugh. And yeah, that sounds really nice. But then she got a new job and had to move and so on, so that of course fell through. But now she's back on track. So she's like preparing for that, and she asked if I still wanted to sit in, and that would be a laugh. And then I thought, if she's selling the traditional pastries, some of them are made with some traditional wood tools as well, like a comb for making the patterns on the cookies and whatnot. And that, like, all right, if she's selling the cookies, we can like make some bundles where you can buy the cookies, but you can also get the traditional tool that make this pattern and with the recipes, you can try to make them your own. So we met up here I mean, it's 2 weeks ago now, I think, to talk about it. And that means that I have to figure out what I'm going to make. And then however many we need, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I mean, we just finished July, and I'm on my second Christmas project. So it feels a bit weird thinking about the Christmas fair, but that's the way it is. I mean, if you're going to be prepared and you're going to make a lot of stuff in good time to prepare for that, we are already late. So it's going to be fun to see if we can actually pull it off this year.
Put the Yule in July.
But I'm not doing it to sell anything. I'm doing it just to be able to hang with a friend for 2 days. So I got a lot less riding on this than she does. But yeah,
There's one thing
it's
I
going to be
have
fun.
learned so far, though, is that anything food related does really well. So the cake stalls or the sandwich station always sells out. Me,
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah, that got me thinking though. I mean, KJ, you has been to Skaperfestivalen before, and there is one guy outside there. He's making pancake with a CNC. So he has a batter dispenser to the CNC, and then of course he placed it on top of a big like a frying plate. So it's like you got different designs to choose from. Do you want a teddy bear or do you want a bunny or whatnot? And he just press play and it just draws, and then you get a pancake in any shape. So I have a CNC, so maybe I just do the pancake stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds scary, using a CNC instead of a 3D
8,000
printer.
RPM, the world's quickest pancakes. Yeah.
That could be interesting if you have a cylindrical heating plate around it, so it just does a splatter design. Every design is different. That could be really arty.
Ooh, what? Oh yeah, now I know what it's called in English. Cotton candy. Those machines are spinning hot
Yeah.
tubs.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you combine that with your CNC, then can you make patterned cotton candy? But yeah, molten sugar next to your machinery. I mean, you're gonna spend the next year cleaning that. So yeah,
Yeah, that's a one-time use.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how about you then, KJ? Any making? How's the pergola going? You're
Yeah, the
pampering your
pergola
car.
is actually going fine. I mean, we have been planning this for a couple of years, or talking about it for a couple of years, and slowly planning it. And I mean, in the start of the summer, it was a lot of digging and just hoping for the best and seeing, actually taking correct measurements and seeing how much we have to use, how much space we had, and how much we had to dig out to make it work. And then they just went for it. And last week, just before the last podcast recording, I did all the concrete work and then actually got everything up, except for the pergola planks, I call it, the slats on top, because they are so high up and we're going to put them so tight, so we have to paint them beforehand. And we have yet to go and actually buy paint. So but hopefully it will be done like this week.
I was gonna say next year then.
Yeah, but all the importance, I mean, it's standing by itself and it's not going anywhere by the looks of it. So that feels really good. And our patio is not a lumber storage anymore, because it's actually used to be upright. So that's really good. But it did have a diversion in that when my kid wanted to do some welding. So I helped my 10-year-old make a terror knife, or whatever you want to call it, out of a bicycle chain and a saw blade, which is the same saw blade that I used for my knife along. So I guess he's a part of the knife along, just 1.5 years later, or something like that. But it was really fun trying to teach him how to weld when I'm really shit at welding myself. So that was really much a blind leading a blind.
As long as it all stuck together in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I just told him what I usually do. If it doesn't hold together, just put more liquid metal on it. And man, and I never used a bicycle chain before, and I think there are either it's some plastic parts inside of it or some lubrication or so, because we got some flames.
Yep,
Some really interesting colors.
The motorcycle chains got some grease and lubrication in between the links, so yeah.
I did my best to degrease it beforehand, but didn't get all of it.
Yeah.
But that was really fun, and I published a video as well.
Yes, you did.
That has basically done nothing on YouTube. It feels like, but the Instagram reel was really got some reactions.
It was a bit clickbaity, but yeah, I mean, it's
What do you mean
brilliant.
clickbaity? It was exactly what what it said on the tin.
Yeah, that's true. So it's less clickbaity, more what's it called? Nudity, explicit content. Yeah, something.
I mean, there are some makers that is showing some skin to get some views, so I thought I should try that. But apparently, I don't have the body for it.
Yeah.
I've been accused of being Scottish because I'm so pale. Yeah, that's what summer does to you. Yeah, but it was a fun, silly project. I had no clue that Ruth were making her own magnetic bra holder at the same time as I was making mine. So she like published it like a day before mine went up.
I mean, I saw that, but I mean, the difference in publishing dates. I mean, it's obvious that you can't just see that video like, oh, I'm going to do that and publish in that time. So it's obvious that someone has been having great ideas in parallel.
Great minds and ours as well.
Yeah.
But I always think, KJ, videos like that are great because they are that little bit different. They're not just another generic sort of build that you can see 10 times over. So I thought that were a really good video.
It's fun to have a diverse body of videos, but at the same time, it's more of a niche because people don't know what they're gonna get, and for some people that's not nice. They want their woodworking videos that look exactly the same all the time. But I mean, I like it when it's more different.
I must admit, it did get me thinking because it took me over to, if you've got that harness with the catchers, then obviously you need something to fire at it. So I was thinking sort of like Austin Powers-esque. If you think like the fembots that attack Austin with the machine gun boobs, what about a nail gun version? Would that work?
Oh, that's
Interesting attachment, so to say.
when you say that, of course you get those. I don't know what they're called in Norwegian, even less in English, but the strips with the firing ampules that they use for nail guns. Yeah, you could. I mean, if you get one of those metal funnels, I mean, I mean, we're all that generation. We remember Madonna, and then you take two of those, and then you insert the strips of the gunpowder striking things, and then yeah, you just need yeah. Then the question is, should you have nails in one and a screw in the other? So it's like alternating, or maybe a drill, because you pre-drill
Yeah.
holes in hard wood. It's important to pre-drill before you fire a nail in. So I see some extensions.
Taking
Yeah.
the head off a cordless drill and feels a bit aggressive, but could be something there. Yeah.
Wasn't that a scene in a James Bond movie as well? It's
Not that
probably
I
a
can think of
Eastern
it.
European villain lady had something firing out from her bra, or
Oh, I'm not
Not that
sure on that one.
Maybe in your dreams.
Could have been. I've not watched a lot of the James Bond films for a long time.
Oh, I got some googling to do later on. in incognito mode.
Incognito mode, yes.
But doubling back to the digging part, how far did you need to put the posts down? What does the local regulations say over at you?
It said that it was recommended that you dig down 60 centimeters and then put like a 10 centimeters of gravel in the bottom as well.
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot of concrete, but hopefully it will stay in place.
Yeah.
But I mean, just rafters, or what you call them, had to cut them in two because they were so long, and each of those weighed 14 kilos. So I don't know what the entire thing is, but it is heavy, especially with the concrete feet as well.
Soon starts adding up, doesn't it? 14 kilos each. You've got 10 across the span plus the legs, the concrete. It's a heavy piece of kit by the time you're finished.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When you do something big, you realize how heavy wood really is. Because if you're just doing small stuff like a cutting board or something like that, it's not that heavy. And then you try to lift up a 4 meter long joist, and it can be taxing. You realize how weak you really are.
Yeah, the loading and unloading's not too bad at waist height, is it? It's when you're starting to get up above shoulder height and above your head, trying to lift things into place, then you realise then how hard it is working at that sort of height and angle, trying to get things into place.
Yeah, and then you have it, and it's just balancing, and oh no, I have to get it down. How do I do that without killing myself? And then your 7-year-old decides to run between your legs, more or less. But no, go somewhere else, please don't die. This is not a good time for this.
See, I'm lucky. I always end up with a practice run because I get up there. With that, I'd get up, I'd have the beam, I'd be above my head, I'd go for my drill or my driver or whatever it would be, and I'd be able to see it nicely on the floor.
Exactly.
Right, let's get down, do it again.
That did not happen to me at all. Nope, never, not at all. It's nice also to do that a lot of outdoors work, because that got me a chance to get down to the bottom of the barrel on the podcast list for a long time. Because I usually I have all my podcasts downloaded and ready to go. So I have a to listen list, so to say. And that list has been long for at least a couple of months, somewhere around Maker Center, I think. I thought I would do a bigger dent in it then, but now I actually got to the bottom, and then I went, now because I have some podcasts that when I don't have anything else to listen to, I go back to those. And I thought, I'm going to download some more of this one, and then it had disappeared because I had taken it down. So that was, I'm not going to be able to complete this one. That felt, I mean, I've listened to like 50, 60 episodes out of 100 or something like that. So I will never know what the last 40 was. So that felt not fun. So that's a good thing with downloading. Then the podcast owners can't do anything about it. If you downloaded the episode, they can do how many re-uploads as they like. You still have the original one if they upload something that's wrong.
Yeah, I'm lucky I don't have that big of a list, really. Like I say, having been fairly constant in the workshop, it doesn't add up too much until now for the school holidays, when I'm not really getting to listen to much.
A good thing with downloading, an interesting thing with downloading the podcast is that it downloads the ads as well. So when you're in a different country, you get different ads. So it's really hard listening to Danish ads that got downloaded when I was in Denmark, because I don't understand what they're saying most of the time.
But then, how much do you actually listen to the adverts that you do understand?
True. True. It's not much. I wonder if ads on podcasts actually work, or if that's a bubble as well that's going to go away.
Yeah, but that was it was fun that I did not have too much downloaded, and I did actually delete all my watch later videos again. So since we last discussed it, I have accumulated a lot, like 70, 80 videos, and I just went through them. And yeah, that's interesting, but it's not interesting for me to take time to actually watch them. So I just deleted everything. But I did have a quick project in the workshop last week that I didn't plan on putting on YouTube, so it was nice going into the workshop, actually putting on the Bluetooth speaker and then just find your old playlist of music and just press play and actually be in your workshop listening to music and enjoying it. Because if you have any recognizable background music or a podcast or a voice that the copyright search find at YouTube, you're screwed. I mean, you can silence that clip, but then you have a dead silent clip amongst other clips with background noise, so that is weird as well. So it was enjoyable to actually do some minor woodworking to ACDC for once.
And not have to change camera angle 15 times and
Yeah, yeah,
retake.
And that's it sometimes, isn't it? It's the amount of time that it takes to stop, position, film, stop, position, film over and over again. Whereas I did one a few months ago, made something for one of my kids and managed to get it done in sort of an hour. And it's unbelievable how nice that is to do every now and again, where you can just make a cut or a couple of cuts, screw it together, and then it's done. It's
yeah.
it makes a difference.
I got an idea here. I think it was last week or something that Phil from Phil Makes Things, he got a new action camera because he had an old crappy GoPro one, and it turns out it's the same as I have, and tried it last year, and the battery held for 10 minutes, and the quality of the video was like a 90s home VCR video. So I've been asking him, like, was it worth the money? Because I have been thinking if I have a very small action camera as well, you can get some interesting close-ups, but you can also like mount it on the hand plane and get like these cool shots where it moves together with the tool. But then I got the idea, if I have a second camera, of course it is a bit hassle syncing up the audio when you're doing the editing, but it's bearable. But I could put it up in the corner and just record myself recording a YouTube video, because I have become fairly good at, I have the camera at an angle, and then I'm working on a workpiece, and then I'm gonna flip the workpiece, and I know I'm gonna have to change the angle of the camera. So I just freeze mid frame and I just hold it there for 2 seconds, and then I remember how I held it. You have to put it down, you switch the camera to another angle, you press record, and then you lift the piece back up at the angle where you left off, and then you continue as it was in one continuous motion. And it would be cool to make a YouTube video behind how it is to make a YouTube video, and you just focus on those clips where you're moving the camera, just showing how many steps there are just to planing one strip of wood for a huge project. But that's a niche audience, but it would have been a fun project to do, I think.
It is a bit inside baseball, but I mean, I could really use those kind of tricks because I am crap at that. I just take it, hold it, and move the camera. And, okay, did I hold it this way or this way? My hand, was it forward or backward? And I mean, it doesn't really matter in the end, but for me, it matters. So then I have to go back and, yeah, I would like that video. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sounds a
think,
good idea.
yeah, and of course, any any audience, they wouldn't notice because that's details that you only notice. Except there is this one or two subscribers that obviously are pausing your videos to look at details and asking you, what's that on the wall behind there? Like, that is the thing you're focusing on. Oh, okay. But yeah, for the most of them, they don't care. I mean, I've switched tools from one hand to the other, from one shot to the other, and then I mean, nobody noticed if you change the shirt out. So I think it's not as bad as we make it out to be.
Don't you do that, KJ? You paused one of my videos the other week to ask me to ask me about the message on my watch.
Yes, because I mean, your watch was so dead center in the clip, and you just saw that boop, it got a message. Okay, what was that? I have to scroll back and see what it said. Because it felt like a not product placement, but kind of those messages that you're not supposed to see, but your brain reacts to it.
Yeah, I can tell you now, I'm nowhere near a good enough YouTuber to get a text message right while my hand's in the middle of cutting something and just in front of the camera. I'm nowhere near that skill level, so that was a complete fluke. Uh,
But it was fun.
yeah, it made me go back and watch the video myself so I could see what it was.
But have you, Ross, in any of your videos, have you had to tick off the paid content or something like that? Have you got any?
No, so not yet. Um, Everything I've got's been my own so far. Um, so no, I've not used the paid content yet, but it is coming up. I've got some stuff on the way um, from a company, so I'm going to have to learn what to do when you tick that paid content button. But so far, I've either not had the offers or the offers that I've had, I've not wanted to take up.
Yeah, because I've seen that button as well, but I've never ticked it. And then I thought, of course, the algorithm in YouTube. I mean, they are making a huge revenue. Whatever piece you are getting is of the ad revenue that they make for companies paying them again. But then again, if you have a company paying you to advertise, will the algorithm push that video more because there is a company actually investing money in ads here? Is there an incentive for YouTube to push those videos? Because then we could easily we can have the podcast have paying us as makers to and then just have an ad roll in the middle for the podcast or something like that. I mean, just to see if it makes any difference at all.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought.
I mean, no one really knows how the algorithm works, so
I,
it
I
works.
don't I don't even think it does work. I think it just makes it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a way of working. That it's all pretend. It's all
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors.
I'm sure you guys have seen the same. You'll release one video and then release a second one on a very similar topic, similar everything, and the results can be just so dramatically different. It's untrue.
Yeah, I wonder how much it matters where your audience are when you actually release it. If it's drowning in the flood of other stuff, or
Yeah.
if everyone is just doom scrolling in the sofa and everyone watching it at the same time, or yeah.
But even then, I've had videos that I've had way above my average figures, and they've gone nowhere near as far on the same topic as a video that's gone a lot further with worse sort of retention and click through rates. So it's interesting to see actually what is the calculation that this algorithm does to decide what gets pushed and what just stays with sort of mediocrity.
Yeah. It feels like a good way to go insane to try and figure that stuff
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I think it's hard to. Yeah, I don't think it's beneficial for your mental health to try to figure out that. I mean, then you're deviating from what you want to make, which I think is the first clue to having a good video is actually making something that you want. But of course, it's nice to put in these small tests just to see, like, we can now end this episode with the test of the retention rate for the half pint, and we can continue the chat there and see if that helps.
Like they have any retention between the main episode and the half pint. I mean, I'm still puzzled that we have consistently fewer listeners on the half pint than on the main episode. But I mean, everyone does everything different, so I can't judge.
Is there any sort of insight to why that is then? Is the release time Saturday people are free, Tuesday people are at work, or
Maybe.
But it should. I mean, if it was the other way around, it would make sense. I mean, people need it in the background for.
I mean, that depends on when
work,
people
but
are consuming podcasts as well. Is it something when you commute to work, or is it when you're free in the weekend mowing the lawn? Or so, yeah, I think everyone is too different to actually get some data. But I mean, yeah, sure. Everyone listening, chime in. When are you listening to this podcast? What are you doing right now? Go to the Instagram and message there, or send it to the CMO group on WhatsApp, or just send Glenn a message.
yeah, I mean,
Tell us, what are you doing
if
right
it's,
at
if
this
it's
moment?
pictures, send it to Glenn. If it's in
Yes.
writing, you can send it to the rest of us.
So now you got your homework. Now we can go. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
bye?